Hi, El Dingo Loco here, bringing you all the action from Fight Lab 37 at Fort Bragg. Here next to me, I got a man who doesn't need any introduction. You can see that he's wearing all the gold. This here is Smalley Biggs, Trey Singleton. Say hi.
Hi, how's it going?
So, tell me, Smalley Biggs, how was it like fighting on Fort Bragg?
It was amazing. My dad's been in the military for 22 years, and it was really nice seeing like all the armed forces gathering here just to watch us fight. It's a really good experience, and it was fun.
So, tell me, I know you're a kicker, and I know you're a puncher, but where did the jiu-jitsu come from?
I've been working jits after I started picking up Taekwondo. After a while, working the kickboxing with Josh Marshall at Marshall's MMA, and then he just started me up with that, and then I just been training and getting my butt kicked. So it all helps me out with experience as far as pulling the submissions. So.
What about this cross-training I hear you do with this gym called Dark Side of MMA? What do you have to say about those guys?
Those guys are always fun to work with. Like I said, whenever I go to college in August, I train there. I'm a transplant, so they take me in and work with me and everything like that. So they always have a good group of guys there. It's always fun, never a dull moment. Always make sure that my cardio's up and everything like that. So it's fun. It's fun. They're a great group of guys.
I think you've kicked me there a couple times in the face, maybe to the body a few times. We've had our back and forths. Tell me what's next for Smalley Biggs. What are we gonna see out of the Fight Lab champion?
Hopefully some better cardio and not me getting thrown around like a rag doll like I did earlier. And just sticking to my game plan. I was supposed to stand and strike with him the entire time, and I tried to get in close and grapple him, and that didn't make any sense. But I ended up pulling out the win, so hopefully I can just stick to it next time.
If you can call one person out or one person you would like to fight, whether they're retired or they're not retired, active or not active, or champion status, who would you want to fight?
I honestly have no idea. I'm not really one to call someone out at all. So, I mean, whoever wants to fight, I guess, but not right now because I'm going to take a break because I'm hungry.
So, whoever's in line next for Trey Singleton, you better be working your cardio. You better be working your jits. And remember, Trey Singleton will kick you in the body. That's all here with Trey Singleton and El Dingo Loco. Thank you. El Dingo Loco here with Fight Lab at Fight Lab 37 at Fort Bragg with the champion, Jesse Herzog.
I'm overwhelmed, Joe. I don't really know what to say right now. It's been a long road. It's been an amazing experience, and this has been something I talked about like 3 years ago. I was like, I want to be the Fight Lab champ someday. And to accomplish that, and here, where I've grown up and lived in the military, in the Army, in the United States Army, for the last 8 years, I don't know how else it could have been any better. I really don't.
Tell me, what were your thoughts going into the fight? What was your game plan? Did you stick to your game plan? What was the main thing that you wanted to go out there and accomplish besides, of course, winning the belt and keeping it here on Fort Bragg where it's supposed to be?
Well, when I think about Tony and I think about his length and his range and his style, a traditional martial arts stance. He can switch stances. Again, he's great at using his range. He's got a nasty guillotine setup. Those are the things I had to be worried about, but it was a couple things I kind of knew. I knew there's no way his cardio condition would be anywhere near mine. And I knew that his body always looked a little soft. And the way he stands straight up always left him open for the takedown, the shot. And a correct level change in deep, not leaving your head out there where it should be. There's no chance he would wrap up my neck, So I knew the takedowns would be there. I knew the body was going to be open, and I stuck with that game plan. Once I figured his range out and I was comfortable with it, I got inside where I needed to be to stay out from his loop and big shots he likes to throw. And, when the takedown was there, I took it. And then from there, on the ground, jiu-jitsu, I mean, that's my world, the ground and pound world. So I was very comfortable there, and I could feel the energy kind of leaving as time went on, just being patient and seeing the openings. And you know, when it was there, I took it and I capitalized.
You have fought for Fight Lab quite a few different times, and you fought in different areas with Fight Lab. Compare a show here on Fort Bragg to a show in Charlotte. Like, what was the energy like here compared to the Grady Cole Center or any of the shows that they have done in Charlotte?
Well, it's actually quite different. You have two different types of crowds, in my opinion. Tonight was obviously a very heavy military and family-oriented crowd of very respectable people. Obviously, a lot of them knew me, so I was fighting at home. Out in Charlotte, you know, you get a lot of excited, rowdy folks. It's very theatrical, you know, and again, I'm the visitor most of the time. So here, I actually feel it was more intimidating for me because I'm fighting in front of my wife for one of the first, you know, only second time ever seeing me fight in person. And, you know, on Fort Bragg, so many people that know me that came out to support to take the time. I think I actually felt the pressure a little bit more here. It wasn't a hostile crowd like I've experienced against, you know, with my opponents being from Charlotte, you know, all their fans. But, you know, with the environment here being at home, at first, it actually was getting to me a little bit. But I calmed down, prayed, just came out, realized that regardless of what happened, I just wanted to go in there and give a good fight. And I knew no matter what, at the end of the day, you know, God's still good, and all my friends and family are still going to love me. I'm still going to get up tomorrow and drive on. And the environment here, I couldn't ask for a better situation. To work my way up to be the #1 contender and fight for the belt here at home, I mean, I couldn't have set that up. It just kind of fell together.
So tell me, what is next in store for Jesse Hertzog? Do we see Jesse Hertzog hold the title for a while and defend it a couple times and go pro, or is it time for Jesse to go pro and test the waters and see what's out there and see how far you can take it? Because I believe you can take it all the way. I really do. But what are your thoughts on it?
Well, Joe, you and I have been friends for a little while now. You've been a huge influence on me. Actually, I watched you fight just when I first started training. I was watching you fight. So you've been an inspiration to me forever. And we've become friends. You've given me a lot of guidance and mentorship through competing against each other in jiu-jitsu, and then helping coach me at times and giving me advice as, you know, a seasoned fighter. And I think we both know it's time for me to go pro. This was a stubborn thing I wanted. I probably should have turned pro already, actually. This was something I was stubborn about, that I wanted this belt. Me and Brett have talked. I trust him. I want him to help me out. I want you guys to help me out too, in conjunction with my coaches and my team. But it's time to step into the pro world. I don't think there's anything Jesse Hertzog needs to prove anymore. I mean, my last 3 amateur fights have been against the best guy in Virginia, the third best guy in the Southeast, and now the Fight Lab champ. And I've won all 3 of those. It's what I want. I wanted 3 tough fights in a row to see if it was time to leave. And with all my military combatives bouts as well, I mean, now I'm 10-1. And, you know, I've got a couple championships. I've got the one that I think means the most to me, other than the 2011 All-Army Championship that I won. You know, this one's right next to it. And I think it's time to step into that pro world and follow my predecessors like yourself into that area.
Well, that truly means a lot. You're actually an inspiration to me, too. One of the reasons I came down here was just really to come see you fight. So, with that being said and wanting to go pro, you're going to stay at 55. Who would Jesse Hertzog want to fight first at 55 in the pro world?
Well, Brett and I have talked again about it, and my coach, Coach Seth Stevenson. Actually, I don't walk very much above 55. We might do a fight at 55 to start off, but my optimal weight would be 45 with a day before weigh-in. I can make that. I have competed at the 140-pound division for the Army 3 times, and I just won the Army Championship in 2013. Comfortably made the weight, too. I was 139.6 and made it, no problem. Felt great the next day when we started competing. So it's something we're going to have to talk about as a team, I believe. I don't mind 55. I'm fast. I'm explosive. I'm strong. Frankie Edgar could do it, cutting 3-4 pounds and being the champ. In the UFC. I mean, I know I could be competitive. At 45 is an option too, I believe. As far as fighting whoever, actually, I'm going to trust the management and the coaches on that to set me up with the fights that make sense. There's no one I really feel that I'm looking to fight or go after anything, because I respect all the guys in the pro ranks in the Carolinas especially. Those are our best guys. Like, I look up to those guys and learn from them. And I like when the guys in the Carolinas go represent the big league. If we're beating up each other all the time, that's going to be tough for us to stay healthy stepping out. Like, I was kind of torn watching you and Solo fight, two of our best guys, when you guys fought, and I was like, man, it's kind of tough on both of them. This would be a bad fight for us in both their careers, and I feel like we don't need to be beating up each other so much to get to the next level. So it doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't. If that's the way it has to be, fine. That's the way it has to be. But I'm going to trust Michael Allen helping manage me, and then Coach Seth Stevenson, in conjunction with those two working together. I'm going to trust them and their judgment on who I'm going to fight.
That's a great answer. And yeah, hats off to a guy like Solo. I know that was a good fight down there, and I understand with your options of going to 45. That is a day before weigh-ins. You seem like you would be very powerful there. So tell me, is there anybody you would like to thank? I know you had a long list when you were in the middle of the cage, but anybody out there you want to reach out to and tell them thank you for everything?
Well, of course, the Lord God, above all, first and foremost. After that, my wife, for just supporting me and all of the crazy things I've done since we've been together. It's a long list, but she's amazing. And the list is so huge. But the ones I think I need to make sure I thank publicly are definitely Coach Seth Stevenson, Ricky Saxton, Kyle Trujillo, Anthony Wright, all my training partners that have really been there for me over the last, since I've started. They've been there when I've needed them. When I've called them, they've come. Mike Pagano. Mike Pagano was one of the guys that got me started in 2008, helping me out, teaching me stuff, because he was a very seasoned competitor already. Now he's just coaching, but he was 10-0 as an AMI and did very well in Army Combatives as well. So, Mike especially, and he wasn't here, but my mentor that I pretty much mimic his style. I look like a little version of him, is Jason Palacios. Jason moved on because his wife had a PCS out to Washington, but Jay, I love you, and you're really, truly, I feel, the biggest testament to my overall success on everything that I've been able to do because of your mentorship and your friendship over the last 6 years. And then, lastly, I want to make sure, again, Chuck Hughes, who's been a coach of mine for coming down, helping corner me tonight, and then Roy Marsh, who's really been mentoring me in jiu-jitsu to get to the next level in my jiu-jitsu over the last 3 months. Spent a lot of one-on-one time with me. And I'll stop there.
There's a long list. I guarantee there's more there, and we know Jesse Herzog is a busy man, and he's got to go spend some time with his family now. So we just want to, here at Fight Lab, want to take our hats off to him and tell him how proud we are of him and how glad we are to have him as the 155-pound champion.
Thanks, Joe. I really appreciate it, brother. Appreciate you, too.
El Dingo Loco here with the pit boss at Fight Lab 37, Fort Bragg.
Been a fun night. I'm wiped out. We had a fun night. We had some great fights. It's a lot of great fights. Some surprising finishes. Some great show of heart. And we treated, as far as I could tell, every single one of the servicemen and women that were here had a great time.
If you could figure out or tell me who is your favorite fighter of the night, and there can be runner-ups, but of the night, who would be your favorite fighter or fight of the night?
All right. I got to look at my notes here because I made a few that I thought were just – okay, I'll tell you what. Devereaux and Tipton, okay? We have Josh Devereaux here from On the Base fighting Coleman Tipton, who's with Tony Rogers. The funny thing is Devereaux comes out and cracks Tipton. Cracks him. And Tipton just keeps looking at him like, I mean, it was almost a little bit of a grin. It was a 3-round war. I mean, it was a beautiful, beautiful fight. Test of wills, great striking on both sides. Both of them showed a lot of heart. Devereaux comes out with a win. I can't do it yet. We got to vote. We got a council of 5. My vote counts 4 out of the 5, but we got a council of 5. We got to vote on the fight of the night. But that's an early runner for fight of the night. I'd also throw in there the William Brown, Caleb Busey. I got to give heart of the night to Caleb Busey. I mean, the kid, he took so much damage. He kept fighting. And
his face looked like hamburger meat.
It did. And he just kept going. He's a tough,
after the second round.
Tough as nails. Singleton and Anthony Wright. Trey Singleton, Smalley Biggs. Our champ, 135-pound champ. It was fun to watch. Again, both of them. I was impressed on both sides with some of the skill they were having. Some of the takedowns, some of the slams, some of the knees that you don't see a whole lot of knees in the amateur side, but a lot of knees to the body, a lot of heart, and a lot of guts. And they both kept going for every round. Kaiser, good gracious, quick knockout. It was beautiful.
Ouch.
Yeah, Herzog and Tony Rogers. Beautiful fight, and then Saxton and Salvo back and forth, and Saxton ends up getting a hold of his Salvo's neck. I mean, we got too much to choose from. I can't pick fight of the night, but those are my favorites of the card.
So tell me this, coming to Fort Bragg, what was it like? What was the energy like here compared to a Charlotte show or compared to a Shaw Base show? What was the energy like here at Fort Bragg?
They're all different. They all have their own personalities. It's kind of like your kids. It's hard to pick a favorite. Charlotte's different. We have such a huge following in Charlotte. We come to Fort Bragg. This is our first show at Fort Bragg. To me, it was electric. There was a lot of people here that have heard about our events but haven't been to one. DJ A-Rod was doing his thing. Cornbread was on point with what he was doing. The fighters came out and performed great. I mean, it was just a fun night to me.
So, if we can cap this up, who do you think next would be for Jesse Herzog as a title fight, or for Nate Kaiser? Who would be next for an opponent for those two?
I'm not touching that. I am not the matchmaker. I am not
too hot
any
to
names.
handle.
I am not throwing any names out there, man. Every time I do that, I get in trouble. I don't throw any names out. Cornbread's our matchmaker. Every time I toss a name out there, I get in trouble.
Well, you heard it here first. We have to hunt down the famous Michael Allen Cornbread to figure out who's next for Herzog.
Cornelius Sweetbread Allen.
Is there anybody you would like to thank, Mr. Pit Boss?
Yeah, I got a lot of people I want to thank. I want to thank Tom Bakley. Puts in a lot of hours and a lot of time. Gets the whole crew together. Talking about the crew, our 3 main guys, we had El Dingo Loco was on the crew, been on it several times when he's not fighting. We got Blue, who just keeps on going. Our 3rd member of the crew, where'd he go? Rob Tate, just keeps coming back and asking. And then we had Brian Buzzsaw Harris jumped in last minute. Says, I don't care, I'm in. Jumps in and starts working hard. So I want to thank our crew. I also want to thank Cornbread. He put in a huge effort on a fight card. Had some last-minute injuries he had to replace, and he just keeps going, and we keep laughing. Someday we're going to get in trouble with this. We're going to get a congressional inquiry, I think is what's going to happen, okay? They're going to come at us and ask us why we have a monopoly on all the best fights, and that's our big running joke. I want to thank the base. We had a lot of help from the general manager here at the facility at Sports USA, from Kelly Monroe. She did a great job. Erica Walker, who's with MWR, got a whole lot of stuff done for us, pulled a lot of strings to make things run smoothly. And then the Army Combatives group that's here on base that helped us with some of the crew and load and unload and set up and tear down, and then also with a little bit of security. And I want to thank all the people, all the fighters who come out and put it on the line. They train hard, they fight hard, and really at the end of the day, they're the lifeblood of what we have.
I have a feeling we'll be seeing Fight Lab on TV here really soon. So
No comment.
I can see it's in the works. It's in the works. So everybody stay tuned to Carolina Warrior TV and Fight Lab, because we're coming.